Good morning, Ground Mantlers. It's Dan from GameReviewsAU, and I'm bringing to you today my review for Lord of the Rings, Gollum. Now, I played this on PS5, and I was expecting something more than what I was given. So the idea of playing as Gollum it's quite a fun idea. It's quite it's a very attractive concept, because Gollum is a really interesting character. So the idea of following him and his story, taking down enemies in stealth, climbing, shimmying across rock ledges and all that, it just sounds really fun. It sounds like it has a lot of potential to be a good game. Unfortunately, it's far from it. I really don't want to rag on it, because I feel that's very mean, but this game was not ready to be released. Okay, it was so far from being polished enough to go into the hands of gamers for them to enjoy. The first thing that I want to mention is the game, it crashed 3 times for me, and this was over the period of like 2 hours playing, and it was frustrating as hell. I have never had a game crash on my PlayStation, ever. You know, the fact that it is doing it so frequently in Gollum is quite concerning. Yeah, how did that get past quality assurance? Now, crashes aside, the graphics of the game, for starters, they look like PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2 graphics. Definitely not next gen or current gen, whatever we're at now. It has a very bland look to all the character details. The textures, for goodness sake, I'm sorry, I don't mean to speak like that, but there are so many things that just irked me. The textures, for one, on walls, just walls that you're running past in the environment, they are blurry as heck. I thought maybe they were still loading, so I stopped and I waited for a bit. Those textures never loaded. You've just got this blurry environment with a relatively sharp Gollum running around. Yeah, it's a very visually displeasing game for the PS5. I mean, completely for the PS5. It's on other platforms, I'm sure it would be just as displeasing. But I expect more from a PS5 game. Moving on to the actual story of the game. So I don't know when this is set, but Gollum meets Gandalf, and Gandalf seems to be a younger version of himself. However, Gollum is also privy to the existence of Bilbo Baggins. So therefore it must be set between The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings stories. But it's touching very briefly upon things that happened in The Hobbit, and then showing you it from Gollum's point of view. And it's kind of boring. Like, you think, why did people think we cared about this? I thought that I would. But then when you actually play it, you're like, this is so not relevant. It doesn't feel like a story that anyone was asking for. So yes, story-wise, this game it's very plain. There are points also in the game where you can sort of choose which action to take. A Gollum sort of action, so like a bad, mean sort of action, or a Smeagol sort of action, a bit nicer. And these are really weird. They come up in the form of little cutscenes, and there's one where there's a stag beetle flying around, and you get to choose to let it live or eat it. And I was like, just eat it. Go on then, Gollum. Gollum, eat it. And so then it says, you must convince Smeagol and it gives you multiple choice of things that you can say, or Gollum can say to Smeagol to make him change his mind. And so I said, well, the ring wraiths are scary. The beetle might draw them over. And so then Smeagol was like, oh, yeah, ring wraiths are scary. And then it goes, congratulations, or whatever, you have convinced Smeagol. And so then I continued to watch the cutscene afterwards, where Gollum is trying to catch the stag beetle. And it looks like he isn't even trying. And I'm like, but I told him to catch the beetle. And then the ring wraiths come anyway. And I'm just like, what was the point of that? It just seems like additional stuff that they've crammed in to sort of make the game feel a bit more, I don't know, versatile, but yeah, unnecessary. Now, going to the combat of the game. Combat is done via stealth. So there will be times where you have to follow someone, kind of like Assassin's Creed, and you've got to keep your distance but stay close enough. And that's frustrating as hell, because you get no alert as to when you're too far away from them. And even if they're walking towards you, and you can see them, but you're like a meter too far away, goes, you failed, they ran away. And I'm like, I could see them. Why? Come on. And yes, then the actual stealth combat aspect of the game. You'll hide in long grass and stuff like that, sneak up on enemies, and then jump on them and throttle them until they're unconscious. Other enemies can come along and see them and become alerted to your presence. Now, you can then hide, and then try again. But it just felt really, the actual button inputs to do this throttling were very, there wasn't much description as to what you're meant to be doing. I was like, do I spam triangle? No, I have to hold triangle. But the thing is, I was already holding triangle to approach and initiate this stealth takedown. Why do I have to let go of it and then hold it again? It's just redundant. So many decisions in this game just felt unpolished. And then, just the bugginess of the game. So there's a part where you've got to sneak past a guard to get over a bridge. Now I did that because the guard just ran away. So I got to the other side of the bridge, but there was nowhere I could go, because there was a cave in front of me, and I jump in, but you just fall to the bottom and die. Or you fall to the bottom and you become stuck, therefore you got to restart from the last checkpoint. So the only way to progress through that part is to do exactly as the game is telling you. Pick up a rock and throw it at the lantern to distract the guard. And I'm like, the guard was distracted. I got past him, but because I didn't follow what the game was telling me to do, it wouldn't let me progress. Because in doing so, it triggers a cutscene, and the cutscene allows you to progress. Just so frustrating. Anyway, The Lord of the Rings Gollum on PS5 disappointed me so many times, and it is not a game that I will be going back to at all. Even if they manage to smooth out the bugs, I just feel that the overall concept of the game is pointless. Yes, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm giving Lord of the Rings Gollum 1 out of 5 stars. If you like this review, please hit the thumbs up button, that one down below. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you do so choose to do so. Leave a comment down below and check out my Patreon page. Pledge me some dollars. This was disappointing.